What's up, guys? What's up? Welcome to Life of Acro. I'm Acro Brandon, and this is my life. Today, we're going to be talking about some $20 motor mounts for a caliber or a torque board truck. So let's get right into it. If you're not a member of the forums, there's a guy, Boardnamics, from good old San Diego.
San Diego. Which of course in German means a whale's vagina.
What he offers is a $20 motor mount per side. It comes with an idler and it should include a belt. So let's crack this bad boy open and take a look at it. Let's go. Priority box, no problem for me. Good, opening up. Got all the goods in here. Little packing, if you want to call it that. I didn't opt for the bells and whistles, but I jumped it all out. Boom, boom, boom. Cool, nice, simple, easy. So what we have here is a nice, simple aluminum motor mount. So you can see it's notched out right here so that you can make little adjustments. It's got the cutout right here, which is where the idler pulley is going to go. And then this will handle, 63 style motors or maybe even the 50s. He's also got these holes right here pre-drilled for a crossbar if you wanted to add something like that. I don't really know. This was the cheaper of the two. He actually has some other mounts that are quite nice that he chamfers and it gets like a real nice sheen to it. And then he actually just did a huge batch where he anodized them black, I think for another $5 to $10 or something like that per mount. They actually look really sick and tight. So I don't know, I might just spray these black just so they look a little more stealth for my buddy. But we'll see what happens there with that. Really the use for me is that I am building a gift board for my buddy. So I needed some cheap motor mounts because I've used all of mine. I have the Janix ones that I have on this board right here behind me, actually, if you can see that. So I stripped everything off of my first build, swapped it over to this deck, and I'm reusing my deck and some budget parts where it counts to save a few bucks so I can get my buddy a board and not take too big of a hit to the wallet. It's got these little clamps right here. They go together like so. Oh my God, making a lot of noise. Clamps like this, will fit onto a D-style truck, which would either be your caliber 2 style or a torque board. And then it's got the bearings and pulleys right here, all of the hardware. And I guess there's no belts. I thought it used to come with the belt. That's okay. I have tons of belts in the closet, so I'll be okay without it. But you might want to double check on that if it does or does not come with the belt, because that's something that was advertised. But then I also feel like he said something about you should just add a couple extra bucks if you want one, because half the people don't need belts. So I don't know. Let's look at mounting this. I'm probably not going to do it today, so I'm just going to cut to a different day in the next part of this video, and we'll look at how it goes on, how it mounts, what it looks like, and ease of installation. Okay, so I've got everything mounted up. I was just test fitting. Obviously, it doesn't look perfect right now. There's good news and there's bad news. Good news, everything goes together quite nicely and easily. The bad news is that I was shorted one little bolt right here, one nylon or locking nut, if you want to call it that. So I'm gonna have to go get one of those from Home Depot. No biggie, but counting to 2 in each bag is kind of nice. This side is perfect. The bad news is that because it's kind of a Frankenboard and it's for my buddy, I have one Maytech 6355 with a sealed can, and then I have a torque board 6355 with a, I guess it's a semi-sealed can, not nearly as open as the Maytechs. Unfortunately, because it's a sealed can and it has this little nipple right here, I actually cannot mount both of these on the inside, which kind of sucks on a caliber 2 truck. So the options are to mount one forward and one backwards, or get a bigger truck. I think what I might actually do is just give him one of my torque board 218 hangers. That way everything is mounted underneath here nice and clean, because I have to ship this board to him too, and the last thing I want to do is have one back here making the package a little bit longer. And likewise, if you have one motor mount backwards and one forward, it sucks because you can never stand your board upright, right? Because it's going to be lopsided. So I might just sacrifice the one torque board hanger that I have anyways, because I was going to need a set to finish my other board, put it here, and he can have a nice wide rear, and then it'll just be shorter in the front. Who cares, right? It's still going to be pretty cool. Look like a Roadster almost, or what are those called? The PT Prowlers from back in the day that had the really wide base in the rear and then closed front. So that's probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to break all this back down, rip the torque board hanger off, throw that in here, everything will mount underneath, and we'll call it a day. So otherwise, the installation of this was really nice. It goes together, no bells and whistles, looks great, but just over here, if you look, you can see I got it as close as I could, but there is no space to get a nut on to secure the wheel, and that is basically the exact amount of space that this stupid sealed can, this little nipple on the end, is using up on mine. So that kind of sucks, but way to go, Maytech. Anyways, as far as these mounts are concerned, they look good, man. $20, who can complain? So just a final wrap up on the Boardnamic mounts. I've been riding this board for like a couple weeks, testing it for my buddy. I'm ready to package it up and ship it off to him. So initially what I did is I was rocking the caliber mount, and I had one facing forward and one motor facing backwards, and that was working. I felt like it kind of pulled to one side, but maybe that was just me. At any rate, it was super annoying because there was one facing backwards and I could never like step on the tail of the board to turn the board in different directions. So I ended up getting an extra used torque board hanger from somebody, and the nice thing was that it was already pre-shaved for a different mount, so these mounts fit perfectly on it. The clamps themselves, I've also heard that if you actually want them to fit on a torque board hanger, that if you just shave a millimeter off of this, off of the motor mount clamp itself, that it'll fit on the torque board hanger. So one way or another, you're going to lose a millimeter of material. But let's talk about what I like and what I don't like about the mounts. And by no means am I complaining, because you got to have your expectations set correctly with it being like a $20 mount. What do I like? Super thick material, both on the clamp itself and the motor mount. This thing hasn't gone anywhere, isn't going anywhere. It's amazing. I really like how heavy duty the hardware is, especially on the idler right down in here. This is a 1/2 inch nut. And then the bearings are really nice, solid, thick bearings with a nice bolt that goes all the way through. And it tensions down just right, depending on how much tension you want, all of that great stuff. You really have an option of facing it forwards or backwards, that's it. So you don't really have any additional adjustment of, tweaking it a little bit more up or down, whether it's forward or backwards. Things that I don't like that, like I said, I'm not complaining, is really the idler. I really hate having to use two tools. It would be cool that if there was a way to have like a little notch on the back here that held the nut. That way all you have to do is tighten this part. That would be cool. At any rate, for $20 a mount, these things are amazing. Definitely do not disappoint. Everything lined up perfectly. There was no issues with craftsmanship. So what can I say? Get yourself a pair. I'm probably going to order another pair for another budget build that I'm doing. All right, this is Acro Brandon, Life of Acro. Till the next video.